When the standard rules of weather and light begin failing, the sky starts to bleed. It shifts through a spectrum of colors that shouldn't exist in nature as the atmosphere buckles under the weight of something impossible. This collapse is driven by sorcery, the raw, ancient power that built the world, now channeled through a single possessed wizard's hat. Abram, the vizier wearing the hat, is using this unchecked energy to systematically vaporize every wizard in the city of Helkali. The only people standing between this entity and the end of the world are spectacularly underqualified. There is Konina, a deadly warrior who dreams of becoming a hairdresser; Nigel, a teenager learning heroism from a how-to manual; a perpetually drunk poet named Creosote; and Rincewind, a wizard who has turned cowardice into a survival strategy. In a world suffering from a catastrophic magical overload, raw power is an invitation to be killed. Survival doesn't look like bravery. It looks like running away as fast as your legs can carry you. The group sprints through the palace of Al-Khali as the architecture begins to rewrite itself. Instead of falling to the ground, the stone debris is accelerating towards the sky, assembling itself into a jagged, impossible tower that rises from the ruins of the palace. This diagram shows the effect of a stray spell. In this new war, magic is mutating the physical properties of the city. A marble floor suddenly becomes a pool of boiling grease. A solid wall becomes as brittle as glass. The air itself is now a lottery, where the prize is being crushed by a brick that thinks it's a bird. The group dives into the safety of the palace's empty treasury. While the gold has long been stolen by the servants, they find two surviving items: an intricate blue and yellow magic carpet and a battered brass lamp. As the logical structures of the world dissolve, these characters are forced to bet their lives on unpredictable, chaotic artifacts. When you can no longer trust the ground beneath your feet, a dusty rug becomes your only hope for a future. Rincewind launches the carpet. They spiral upward through the collapsing throne room, dodging boulders that tumble toward the clouds as gravity fails. They clear the ruins and head for the open sea. The atmosphere here is thick with octarine, the eighth color of the spectrum that only wizards can see, and it's glowing with a lethal, static energy. From this height, the scale of the crisis becomes clear. Rival towers are erupting all across the continent. As they compete for power, they fracture the natural ley lines that distribute magic across the Discworld. The saturation of magic is so high, matter and time are starting to lose their identities. The horizon is warping as the physical constants of the universe begin to drift. The group lands on a beach of red sand, where the heat is oppressive and the ocean looks like a sheet of oil. Nigel rubs the lamp, but instead of a savior, they get a corporate-minded genie who treats their impending death as a series of negotiable business meetings. While the genie explains his chain of lamps and procedures, Rincewind begins losing his grip. He starts sleepwalking along the beach, his mind a stew of rage and humiliation, as he realizes the world is actively trying to kill him. He stops and begins piling rocks together, trying to build a tower of his own. It's a pathetic, trembling stack that immediately collapses back into the sand. He stares at the pile, a visual reminder that he has no power, no talent, and now no respect from his peers. The embarrassment snaps something inside him. He stops running, jumps back onto the carpet, and speeds off alone toward the center of the magical storm. He is steering directly into the teeth of the war. Rincewind isn't acting out of sudden bravery. He is acting out of a total, exhausting anger. He is going back because he is finally more tired of being a victim than he is afraid of dying. Rincewind lands in Ankh-Morpork to find a city that has been scrubbed clean by magic. The familiar dirty streets have been replaced by unnerving clinical white stone. The crowded markets are silent, and the smell of fish and river mud has been erased. He runs through the university gates toward the library, his only real home. He finds the walls blackened and the great dome shattered. The heart of the wizarding world has been reduced to a smoldering shell. He digs through the piles of ash, expecting to find the remains of ancient spellbooks or a weapon to use against Abram. Instead, his soot-stained hands pull back a blackened viga to reveal a single roasted banana. Everything he recognized about the university has been erased. The books that defined his life are gone, and the only thing left of his sanctuary is a piece of charred fruit. A flicker of light inside the ancient tower of art draws him in. He steps into the dark, cold interior, where the smell of old paper and dust still lingers, protected by the tower's ancient stones. He finds the university librarian, now an orangutan, working by candlelight. The librarian is hunched over a desk, using mundane thread and glue to perform surgical repairs on the few terrified books that manage to survive the fire. Rincewind starts to protest. He tells the librarian he's the wrong person for this. He's a failed student who couldn't even master a basic spell, let alone stop a war that is unraveling the horizon. The librarian simply reaches out, picks up Rincewind's battered, starry wizard hat, and places it firmly back onto his head. He doesn't need Rincewind to be a genius. He needs him to be a wizard. When your home is in ashes, heroism isn't about having the most power. It's simply the decision to stand your ground, even if you're the most unqualified person in the room.